The N64, the ugly duckling of the retro gaming world. Or so some people say. The blurry, low-textured graphics, the oddball, unattractive controller, the uninspiring naming convention and console design. I think a lot of people have felt like an outsider from time to time in their lives, like they just don't belong. It's the 1st of March 1997, and Nintendo released the N64 here in Europe. Never in gaming history has there been such a technological leap between console generations. This was a revolution. Going from Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo to Mario 64 was almost unbelievable. The experience, the way you could explore the world. For anyone young enough not to be around at this time, it's hard to explain the impact on gaming this thing had. Unfortunately, the N64 now has a reputation of being ugly, dated, and just not worth playing. I'm hoping I can convince anyone who thinks this may be the case to give it a chance, as the N64 is wonderful. I always like to look at the paraphernalia that's included inside the box. They're a window into the period of the late 1990s. Then it was all so modern and forward-looking. Now it's just dated. Or is it retro cool? Customer helplines and service guides were very much a thing back then. I certainly didn't have access to things like the internet, and it will be another 8 years until YouTube is created. You could even order N64 branded clothing, as displayed here by these very 90s looking models. Hats, bags, mouse mats. Very cool. The Game Boy was still very much a current gen for the Nintendo, as you can see from this poster. It would be another year until they released the Game Boy Color, again showing the giant leap in tech the N64 was at the time. With things like the Switch and the Steam Deck, it's kind of hard to remember when handheld gaming was so limited compared to their console equivalents. 3D was new. As you can see from the other side of this poster, the 3D games were marked, making sure you knew exactly which games to get. I'm of an age where I was a little older when the N64 came out, so I have very clear memories of it. I didn't actually own this at the time, as I was very much playing DOS games on my PC. However, my younger brother did get the N64. With the 4 controller imports on the front, the N64 excelled at multiplayer. My brother and I, along with one of our friends from the village, who just so happens to be called Mario, would spend hours playing GoldenEye multiplayer. Old technology from this time period always had satisfying buttons. They have a meaningful, reassuring click to them. Originally, behind the cover was something called a jumper pack, and you could replace this with a memory expansion pack, giving a whopping boost of 4 megabytes, which actually doubled the system capacity to 8 megabytes. Only a couple of games actually needed this, but some other games also took advantage, some offering better resolutions. On the bottom there's a port that wasn't actually used in Europe and North America. It was originally designed to add a disk drive addition. This was called the N64DD, and it was only released in Japan with a few exclusive titles. It has the usual Nintendo multi-out port, offering composite and S-video outputs. And the external power supply fits in here. Now, my personal N64 is RGB modded, with the addition of a deblur feature to offer the best analog video output possible. But this isn't necessary. The N64 looks almost as good with S-Video, if you use an appropriately old TV, but I will discuss this later. One of the many things the N64 pioneered was rumble. Now commonplace, but back in the 90s this offered a new level of immersion. This is the rumble pack. It's an accessory you can add to the standard N64 controller to give said feature. It does require two AAA batteries, like everything did back then. I guess we need to discuss the elephant in the room now, don't we? The controller. It's worth remembering that there was no blueprint for 3D games and controllers at the time, and Nintendo are never scared to buck trends. I'll be honest, I don't find the controller uncomfortable, but I'm fortunate to have slender hands. Adding the rumble pack doesn't help the aesthetics of this controller one bit, does it? It's not exactly an elegant solution. It definitely vibrates, and it also has some degree of dynamics to it, but it sounds and feels very, shall we say, agricultural. I use this, a modern product from Retro Fighters. It's a wireless controller designed specifically to work with the N64. I won't go into too much details, as I covered this product in my previous video. It comes with a receiver which can house the memory card. There's no rumble option on this one though. At the time, Nintendo was still using cardboard boxes for their games. Bright and colourful, and they look great on a shelf. But that's obvious, as that was the original idea behind them. Inside you often got a full colour instruction manual, full of original art and content. And despite the emergence of CD technology, Nintendo, for better or worse, decided to keep using cartridges. And having no end labels is a right pain. Now the first party games on the system are amazing. Ocarina of Time is still to many regarded as the best Zelda game of all time. The expansive world of Hyrule lent itself perfectly to 3D gaming. Inside the box there's a registration card. I think I've left it too late to send. Another poster advertising the Game Boy. And on the back, N64. Did anyone else used to look at these and just wish you could buy them all? I remember the days where you would only get a select few games a year for your birthday and Christmas. That's when borrowing games from our friends was so important. Another great manual. I actually did a previous video on this subject. I think they need to come back. How amazing is this picture? I need a larger version of this as a poster. And the backstory. Nice. No gold cart here. Shame. Lilac Wars. Of course, everyone just called this Star Fox. I believe there was some concern as there was a German company called Starvox. Another quirk of retro gaming in Europe. It's one of my favourite games and I regularly put it in for a blast. The N64 had some amazing Star Wars games as well. Rogue Squadron is still amazing looking and great to play. As is Episode 1 Racer. But why didn't they call it Pod Racer? We all did. They nailed the sense of speed in this. And how many of us played this alongside our friends. And the soundtrack on it is even better than the movie score. It's a pretty dated game now, but I still play through it every year. It was at this time we started seeing more modern shooters as well, 3D really paving the way for them. Soon after this, first-person shooters would flood the gaming market. Another standard to any gaming console is the sport titles. Seeing Dennis Bergkamp in this classic JVC Arsenal shirt really takes me back. Carmageddon was a big deal growing up, although to be honest I played the PC version. This isn't the best N64 game. Another thing the N64 was excellent at was driving games, and there's so many on the system. Right, let's add the N64 to the setup. Now, every great setup needs a tea towel, obviously. Now, to give the N64 its best chance, you ideally need one of these, a CRT TV. This is the kind of TV the consoles were designed to be used on. This is my B&O MX4200. This would have set you back about £1,800 in 2008. I was lucky enough to get this one for free. The picture quality is amazing and the sound is even better with its built-in soundbar. The TV itself was designed to fit onto a motorised stand, so that's the reason for the tea towel, to stop it scratching my oak top.
It's me, Mario! Hello!
It's hard for me to capture the quality of the picture from this TV, but in person it's amazing. Vivid colours, clear definition. Certainly not the blurry mess associated with the Nintendo 64. I remember spending what seemed like hours exploring the castle. Being able to free roam was amazing. And this is why I love the hobby of retro gaming. The visuals, the sound, the music, it all takes me back. The question often comes up, why don't you just emulate all these old games? But for me, using the original hardware on an old TV just all adds to the experience. What a simple and beautiful intro to a game this is. The ability to lock onto enemies was a touch of genius. And I have to say, after playing this briefly for the purpose of filming, I'm reminded what a masterpiece this game is. And now I'm going to have to go back and play through the whole game, obviously. So much for my current gaming backlog. This has to be one of my favourite pick up and play games. I never get bored of the button mashing.
Get back here!
And the cheesy speech in the game is iconic. This was new for this generation of Nintendo.
On your tail.
Now I can also play on my 43-inch 4K TV, with a little help from my FrameMeister upscaler. It doesn't look quite as good as on the old CRT TV, but the RGB mod and deblur feature on my console does help, and a decent upscaler is a must. But there is something fun about seeing these old games on a massive TV. GoldenEye even supports 16:9, so we can fill the whole TV with this low-res first-person shooter. I'll be honest, this game is so good, once you start playing you soon forget the dated graphics. This is a testament to the game developers of these old games. Many things come and go through life, just as many people come and go. Most fleeting, just a moment in time, never to be repeated. How many people loved this old console, and then in time forgot it, relegated to a faded memory? How many never experienced it, and how many never will? Have I managed to convince you this is an amazing game machine, with worthwhile games? Or were you like me, already convinced? How can something be bad when it has given so many people so much joy? happy memories playing with friends and family. Often, outsiders, misunderstood people, go on to do amazing things and affect the world in profound ways, making it a better place for many. As I mentioned at the start of the video, the N64 is by many considered an ugly duckling. And we all know how that story ends. Thank you for spending time with me today, and I hope to see you back here soon.